Hello everybody and welcome to the ultimate Hammer Paladin build. So let's do the introduction first, because there are so many things to cover and talk about. So the Hammer Paladin build, the most popular build for paladins, and maybe even the most popular class build in the game as well. Why? I don't know. I haven't made a Hammer Paladin build in 7 years or something. So for me this was like a new experience, kind of seeing how things should be done. And yeah, it was fun. And honestly, there's a lot of in the community about ways that you should build a build. Like, I can quickly talk a little example here. I suggest a Crown of Ages. Suggesting that over a Shaco is saying like the sky is red for some people. They go completely ape shit on you, and you think they're, you know the way we build a Hammer Paladin is kind of rooted in the community. If you stick out of the meta game, you're gonna be told, "Oh, this is wrong," or "that is wrong," or whatever. Like, there's a lot of passion about the Hammer Paladin. The way we build it is kind of, it's yeah. Don't expect to do a Hammer Paladin build without not least looking into how the meta is run, and then try to kind of make your own examples of gearing and whatnot. But yeah, I don't really enjoy Hammer Paladins that much. I've done the build now, it's good, it's fun enough, but I want to talk briefly about gameplay now. I'm running obviously with 125% faster cast rate. That was the main goal of the video, of the build. But the way we play a Hammer Paladin is basically just tele stomping on mobs and then switching concentration aura instantly. One problem with this tactic is that going from teleport and then concentration, I'm not quite sure, but sometimes the aura seems to lag, where you might throw out a hammer or two before the damage kinda ticks in. I'm not really sure about that, but sometimes it feels like that. Maybe that's just me imagining things. But yeah, look at my teleport now and a concentration spell. So basically, I'm just spamming teleport and then switching back to concentration instantly. That's how you play the Hammer Paladin. Like that. That's the only way you can play the Hammer Paladin. You cannot just expect to do much damage just spamming hammers and hold the stop button down with no auras on, or keeping teleport on every time without switching, which is a way more relaxed way to play the game. If you want to do any serious damage, you need to play the way I just described now, where you start off with teleport, you find your mob, so you find the mob, hover your cursor over the mob, and then instantly hit teleport, switch back to concentration. That's the way you're gonna play, and there's no really other way to make this simple. If we could have auras on the left click here, so auras abilities on this one, it would have been so much better, I suppose. But yeah, that's just the way we kind of have to deal with things in this meta-oriented build. Now, another thing I also quickly want to highlight. It's a lot of fun tele stomping with a mercy chant that is this strong, cause the concentration aura doubles the damage of your merc using a reverse toll that is not even that high rolled. I'm almost at 9k damage on a merc. That's absolutely insanity. If you're rolling with, say, a infinity build or something crazy, maybe on obedience or something, you could reach over 10k damage even without not that high rolled rune words or whatever on your merc with fortitude and obedience. Absolutely insane. But yeah, obviously we gonna roll with this setup anyways, but that's just to give an example. Because when you telestomp, the mercy chance attack speed is that fast that he will start attacking mobs before the first hammer will ever reach the target, which sometimes means that if you're chasing down a mob, it's actually faster to just telestomp the mob than you starting casting hammer, if that kind of makes sense. The attack speed on this setup is absolutely insane, together with massive amount of damage. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the introduction. Like again, there's a lot of passion about this build. There's a lot of ways that people think, oh, this is wrong, that is wrong. That is just how the community is nowadays for the Hammer Paladin. That is so popular and so overplayed by every realm on every possible imagining builds, ladders, non-ladder, whatever. So yeah, good passion about this build, and hope the rest of the guide will kind of makes you learn a thing or two about this old build. There's maybe not much to tell about this build, but I can at least try to make you learn or at least see the way to build the Hammer Paladin a little different. Okay, so with the introduction done, I want to talk a little about specific things for how fast this build is gonna be. I'd done a Chaos Run Hell difficulty, obviously one player with my Merc. His Might Aura was already procced in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. 3 minutes and 20 seconds, that's not the fastest, but it's still very good. I will however say that you're gonna be spamming a lot of potions and it's pretty hectic gameplay, so like I wouldn't want to play with a Hammer Paladin like that for more than half an hour really. Then I'm just gonna get tired of it. You're constantly spamming these two stupid buttons. They're way annoying. But yeah, 3 minutes and 20 seconds Chaos Run. You can probably do a 3 minutes on dot Chaos Run one player hell difficulty if you get a good map, but it's not gonna be super fast in any regard. But still, it's about as fast, if not faster, than my Tesla Paladin build. So that's a thing to compare it to. Still, I think that build is more fun and better in my world. But yeah. Also, another thing I should mention is that this can kill Bale in about 10 seconds if he doesn't move or teleport. So if he just stands there and takes the hammers the whole way, so you never have to teleport once, then it's gonna go down pretty fast. Not as fast as like a Yavason or whatever, but still it's 10 seconds, and that is a pretty decent time. If he starts teleporting around and being stupid and all that stuff, Bale is gonna die in like 20 seconds, which is not too fast, but still, yeah, it depends a little on the luck. Okay, but I think with that out of the way, we can go over stats. Now, strength, again, this is my suggestion, this is the way that I like it, this is the way I'm gonna do it. Crown of Ages, 174 strength required. It's a lot of strength to put in, but on the other hand, if you're gonna be using Crown of Ages, you can also use fully upgraded Mage Feast, which just gives that tiny little more defense, which is always fun enough to chase. So that's another thing to consider if you go with Crown of Ages. Dexterity, 148 dexterity is not too much with one skill point into Holy Shield for max block, so I was pretty happy to see such a low amount. This is obviously with a Sacred Touch, which is the best base you can get for a Spirit Shield on a Paladin. Vitality, if you don't run with Crown of Ages and you don't have that much strength, no fully upgraded Mage Feast gloves, and you use Shaco instead, you can get like 3500 life with a really good inventory and whatnot. So 3500 life is a lot, but I'm already getting 2800 with Cold Arms, so like there's not that much of a difference, and you don't really need the life anyway. So my recommendation is just to get at least 400 vitality, and whatever else you can get is just nice. Now, energy, if you don't have such good gear like a Stone of Jordan and other stuff, I don't know, like this amulet I have is pretty decent. Putting points into energy over vitality would actually not be a bad thing, because this build uses tons of mana, like 13 mana cost and 15.2 mana cost. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're constantly spamming these two abilities here, you burn up so much mana, it just goes down really, really fast. So raw points into energy, if you feel like your survival is already good enough, that's actually a good option. Defense, you're not gonna reach more than 10k defense even with the Crown of Ages, and really good roll on your Enigma. I even have these fully upgraded. I don't have 15% enhanced defense on the shield here, but yeah, I can just go and show it here. So 9000 defense is not a lot. You know, the really good high-end zealot paladin builds and whatnot for PvM, they can get 40k defense, but still 9k defense. That's like that's 4,000 more defense than a sorceress using silver armor or something. So it's still okay. And like with max block, you really don't have to worry too much about the defense anyway. Yeah, and then we have fully max resistance, which is crazily easy on a Hammer Paladin because we use overpowered Herd of Oak with 48 resistance. We use this insane Spirit Shield that has a plus 45 base resistance. So 45 plus resistance, that is the base of the shield before you make the rune word. Rune word spirit doesn't come with plus 80, that's the base that pumps the resistance that high. If you also run with a faster cast rate ring, you could also go with a Mara's amulet, which boosts your resistance even more. And yeah, and then I'm also using decent of Anelius and a decent of Torch. Yeah, well, the resistance is just way too easy on the Hammer Paladin. You really can't avoid getting max resistance. Like, I can take off my Crown of Ages and I can take off my amulet, and still I'm capped on all resistance but fire if it wasn't because of hot spears and talents that I put into it. So easy resistance cap, very. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers the stats. We can quickly go over the inventory as well in this part. Just try to get whatever life and mana small champs that you can get. I use a single faster hit recovery small champ just because I need that for the 86% breakpoint that I was aiming for. A lot of people who are playing a Hammer Paladin, done multiple builds, running bots and all that stuff are gonna say 86% faster hit recovery. That's for PvP only, and it's a complete waste to aim for, but like, this is how I like to build most of my builds. I like to get as fast, as high as breakpoint as I can get, so that is why this little small champ here. And then just try to get whatever combat paladin skills that you can get with life on. Dexterity would be a really good roll actually. Strength would also be fine, of course. You'll have to put that 9 points in for, say, Crown of Ages, but like, if you aren't using Crown of Ages and whatnot, I'd rather just get Dexterity on them if you can't get life, because holy shit, these skills here are so hard to trade for. There's so much worth, just because everyone thinks that, oh, Hammer Paladin, then it's like plus 25% extra price. Well, no, but really, trading these specific Paladin items are a nightmare, and they cost way too much. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Hammer Paladin is expensive because of a retarded trade community that thinks that this is the most prized and most played and best PvM build. So yeah, the trade community is retarded in that way. But yeah, if you can afford to get some nice life on your skillers, that 3,500 life with Shaco is easily reached. And yeah, I think this is it, so we can go over the skills for the next time. For the skills is very simple on this one. I will however say that the Hammer Paladin is one of the builds that really gains a lot, and I will say a lot. Maybe the build that gets the most out of leveling to 99 actually. I will go as far as saying that really. This is the build to level for 99 if you really wanted the benefits of extra skills, because I'm only level 85 currently. But yeah, I think we can just take the combat skills first. You will never want to max Holy Shield. The synergies are not worth it. Defiance as well. Just put 1 point into the Holy Shield together with all the plus skills. It's easily buffed and gives you enough defense and block. Like, putting more points into this one is gonna give me more blocking, so I don't have to put that many points into dexterity, but still it's a complete waste and never worth it. So just 1 point into Holy Shield. And then we max Blessed Tamer. If you're leveling, I suggest not putting points into Blessed Tamer and maybe just get like 10 points into it. And then put the rest of points into Vigor or something while leveling. But yeah, that's a little thing there. Oh, stupid notifications. Yeah. So offensive auras, might aura, good for leveling. Just take that one. There's a synergy early on, and blessed aim. We are gonna use the remaining points in blessed aim. Blessed aim. If I had this one maxed, I would probably get like 400 to 550 extra damage per skill I put raw points into it. So not maxing blessed aim means that I have like 1k less damage or something now. I think it's something like that. But I will explain why I'm willing to sacrifice that much damage. Just hold on there. And obviously we max concentration as the first ability. This is the, you can just see the damage now, 12k, 3k. So concentration is life, concentration is everything. Concentration is also completely overpowered on the Merc. So right now standing in town, it has 2.5, and that is okay. Yeah, if it had its own might, or it would be like 4.8k. But with the concentration hours, the damage jumps up to 10k damage almost, 9k in my case. So yeah, concentration hour is the first skill that you max. Now, you might notice early on the skills, you see that I have 95% faster, uh, faster, higher fire resistance. That is due to I really want to completely, nullify fire damage in the game. The more raw points you put into either resist fire, resist lightning, well, resist cold even, the more of these extra resistant points you're gonna get into it. And this might not sound too crazy. Yeah, just hold on a little second there. I think I can never quite remember it, but I think if I can just quickly find a little link here. Okay, but yeah, I don't really have the time for that while shooting, but I should have found the link before I shot it, obviously. But fire resistance to 75 is a normal aim, but getting above 75 makes your fire damage absolutely insanely better. You take almost no fire damage at all, just having hot spears on and putting, I think it was 4, no, I can't quite remember how many extra points. Yeah, this plus, so that would be like 9 extra points into this. Doing this setup with hot spears and putting points to resist fire means that I'm pretty much not gonna take any fire damage at all. So in my case, if I would take like, let's just take an example, if I would take like 300 fire damage, that would perhaps be like 75 now or something. In some cases I can even get myself healed due to a draw star ring. It's absolutely insane. If you really don't want to mess around with this crazy survival, elemental resistance and all that stuff, you can always just go and max blessed aim and put remaining points into holy shield, but I do not recommend that at all. This is a much better setup. Yeah, then we have prayer, cleansing as the synergy or prequest, and defiance. Now Vigor is the first synergy to blessed aimer that you max, besides putting remaining points into blessed aim. Vigor is not really ever gonna be used for anything other than running around in town, which is okay enough, so that's kind of what we use this aura for. And then the remaining points, or this optional point here, is redemption. Redemption aura is not something I really like to use that often, but it's okay enough if you lack potions and you want to stop up for a moment. And when I talked about in the introduction where the aura sometimes lacks, the same case is for redemption. I can just quick kill some mobs now. You notice how redemption is so slow. You saw first there it started ticking. It's just really, really slow. We can do this again now with, say, that corpse there. You see how slow redemption is. If this was instant, it would be a much more smooth gameplay and worth using. So if you feel like redemption is never gonna be of any value, just skip it. Hell, you could even put 1 point into salvation instead, or whatever. So yeah, that's kinda up to yourself. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers the build. Again, I really do want to highlight resist fire and resist lightning. It's just a much better way to build the Paladin. So yeah, I think the next part will be the gear. Time for the gear. I talked about finding a link just earlier. This is the link. So, I mean, the numbers speaks for themselves. This is absolutely insanity. 75% cat resistance is good enough, but if you can get above, this is absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's just no other way to build a Hammer Paladin than aiming for, nullifying a complete elemental in the game, such as fire or lightning, whatever. And this is also why I want to highlight the build. So there are a lot of ways to gear the Hammer Paladin. Most people will want to gear the Hammer Paladin for botting in the game, getting ultimate survival, because you never want to die as a bot. So this is probably the best setup for just that specific part, botting in the game where you cannot die pretty much on any circumstance. He also go with a Crown of Ages. Very good choice, I agree with that. um, Now a little fun thing here, a minus 15 required duel would actually put the points down to 142 strain to equip a Crown of Ages. So instead of going bear, you can go with that. And a yeah rune, that's an option. I do like that. I've considered it, but I went with 2 bears instead. A 220 amulet is hard to get, but it's needed for this specific setup. So yeah, if you have a 220 amulet, it's a very good thing to go for. Palace Spirit 35% faster card, you have to get 35%. And then 10% faster ring. A ring with Ravenfrost. Why Ravenfrost? That's because of the cold absorb. And then Mage Feaster Trang. T-Gods, that is this build here. Thunder God Spiker, 20 lightning absorb, 10 maximum lightning resistance. And again, hot spears, the same ones that I use. So, draw star ring, hot spear ring, T-Guards, Ravenfrost ring, whatever, all those items. If you use all these items while still having 125% faster cast rate and 86% faster hit recovery breakpoint, 10k defense or close, up to 3000 life. I can't see anyone ever dying then with this setup. That is an absolutely beast build for botting or just having overpowered survival. I wanted to just highlight this setup a little bit now. So let's just go on with a build that I'm actually running with, a little more, what can you say, non-botting build, but still looking into survival as the high priority. Mage Feast again, fully upgraded just because I have the strength for it. A single Stone of Jordan just for damage and mana. If you feel like your mana is not a problem, you should go with a Bulkatos winning band instead. A rock belt, try to get it as high defense as you can. Draw star ring, just get a perfect one. The perfect ones, they don't really cost anything other than a few, I don't know, perfect gems or whatever. If you look around and draw star ring, perfect. And then I was really lucky with an in-game trade here. This dude sold me fully upgraded hot spears, which is way hard to get. The problem with hot spears is that it's a normal difficulty drop, so it can't drop in Nightmare and it can't drop in Hell, and that makes it very rare alone, just that part. But even if you're farming on, say, Act 2 normal, this drop is still very rare from Act 2 normal. It's just one of the rarest items in the game, hot spears. But if you can get this one, it's just such a great boots. There is other options. I don't really carry them, but Infernal Strides boots, they also give fire resistance and maximum, and then also Elder's boots, obviously high amount of fire resist and life, but these boots are better than those two anyways, so we go with this one together with Draw Star Ring to completely avoid fire damage pretty much. And yeah, then we can go Herd of Oak. Just try to get as high, faster resistance roll as you can. This one is fine enough, 38. Enigma, I highly suggest that you get 15% enhanced defense on your Enigma. It does matter a little bit. You know, getting synergy with Holy Shield defense matters a lot. That is why getting something like this one upgraded or this one upgraded is also just a bit of a help. And then the crux of the build, you know, this is, if you can get this item here, you pretty much already did a Hammer Paladin. It's very hard to get, especially if you want a good rolled one. I was lucky to get this one for free in game. You know, non-ladder Europe, whatever non-ladder, any non-ladder realms can be so random at times. People drop the stupidest items sometimes. He dropped this one, which was just a cheap bow spirit, and then he dropped this one while I was just looking for a cheap bow spirit myself. I have no idea why anyone would give such items for free, but you know, that's my luck, I suppose. If you can't afford this shield here, I would highly suggest that you look into using Herald of Sacred and then maybe going with 10 faster cast rate rings instead. Maybe even other ways you can get faster cast rate, but yeah, you have to consider Herald of Sacred then if you can't afford a Spirit Sacred Charge. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, and then Crown of Ages. We can quickly talk about Crown of Ages now. Versus Shaco. Shaco gives you Magic Find, which is useless for me, but maybe if you're budding, it's okay. Damage reduced 10%, but this one gives, yeah, this one misses 3%, but Bear, Crown of Ages would be 31% damage reduced if it was perfect. Still, it's high even as lower roll, so I'm gonna get more physical resistance. Damage reduction, damage reduced percent is physical resistance. So physical resistance, this is stuff like fire resistance. If physical was just above fire resistance down here, if you know, yeah. And then you know you don't need the life. The mana is okay. The tutor attributes are kind of useless, and then the +2 to skillers. Now the +2 to skillers is the 1 plus extra to skillers is like, I think it's almost 1k damage. It's something like 1k extra damage, a single plus skiller. So for max damage build, Shaco is pretty nice. But yeah, we go with Crown of Ages. Sorry, we go with Crown of Ages because of the insane survival and faster hit recovery. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. All the gear is covered except for the amulet now. If you really want to spend wealth on this build, you know, spending that cash or whatever FG in-game value, whatever you have, faster cast rate amulet is a great way to do that. I was lucky to get this one in game trading for items, so for me that was a good trade. This one is +2 to combat skills, which is not as good as +2 to all. I will lose like 700 damage or something because it's not +2, so keep that in mind. However, the stats was too good for me to pass up. You know, +20 resistance, regen, mana, dexterity, absolutely beast amulet. If it just was +2 as well. But yeah, I think that pretty much rounds up the gear and whatnot. I can quickly talk a little about different setups. So if I was gonna use a Shaco, I would use one faster hit recovery. Yeah, this one here, the large charm here. And then I think I would probably, would I change anything else? Nope, I think actually this is pretty much the setup. Oh, I will move this small charm as well. And that's pretty much the Shaco setup instead of using Crown of Ages. I still reach 86 faster hit recovery, still get nice maximum fire resistance and all that stuff. So if you feel like Crown of Ages is not wrong to use, you should just go with this setup and then just get a faster hit recovery Grand Charm. But yeah, I think that pretty much rounds it up. So let's do some gameplay next up. Some gameplay. It's gonna be rather fast before the guide gets too long, but I want to show off the survival, specifically the fire resistance, together with Dwarf Ring. So I'm just gonna buff myself up. Right below me I already prepared some ups that's gonna breathe fire on me, hopefully. We're gonna use Holy Shield, and yeah, let's just keep concentration all around. Switch to normal weapons, obviously. And yeah, there you go. Okay, let's see if we can avoid getting the other mobs with me. Look at my damage taken. I have 3 monsters with breathing fire on me, and I'm barely taking any damage at all. Honestly, this is very good, and we can try to take off the dwarf ring. You see, as soon as I pretty much take off the dwarf ring, we start to see the damage, you know, not spike a lot, but still we are gonna see just a little more damage taken. This is just a really good setup. There's really no other way to explain it. So that's why I really would like to highlight that, yes, if I go with Elder's Boots, I'm gonna get faster run walk and more life. If I don't go with this ring here, I could get another Stone Jordan, but you really don't need it anyways. I mean, 12k hammer damage is already a lot, and that is only at level 85. I mean, if I was a little higher, I could get this up to maybe 13k. So yeah, it's really just nice. But yeah, I think we will pick that Toma Identifier again and go get the Merc. Suicide my Merc just for this little example. Am I not just a great YouTuber? No. Let's do quickly just random gameplay now on Chaos. Now, notice just how much mana that I'm using. I mean, yes, things are dying, but god, I use so much mana. So I actually prefer to keep 3 rows of mana potion on this character here. Not many builds that I tend to do that, but this one kinda does. It's not like I'm gonna take any real damage anyways, but max block and so much good resistance. Oh, my cold arms went away there. I really can feel the burn when my cold arms drops. But yeah, the more you play this build, the better you will get at tele stomping, which is basically, you know, you either make no damage or you make a lot of damage with the Hammer Paladin. That's pretty much how it is. So yeah, and now my Merc died as well. I guess he needed my cold arms buff. But yeah, this was the Hammer Paladin guide. There's a lot of ways you can do this, a lot of ways the community say that you should do this. This is my take on the Hammer Paladin build. Feel free to comment how you would like to build it if you are one of those people who are, you know, bound on using Shaku only, or maybe even feel like Hild or Sakarum Shield is better. You know, hit me away in the comments and whatnot. We can take a nice open discussion about these different setups. I like to min-max and stuff like that. So yeah, fun to do a Hammer Paladin build, sure, but it's kind of a bored way to play it. So I don't think the fun factor is there in the long run. However, it is extremely strong. For one example, you know, the last wave of Bale, those big dinosaurs, I don't think there's any other build of all the ones that I have at least done that clears that wave as fast as a Hammer Paladin. It's absolutely amazing damage, and it's able to, you know, 8 players carry, it can easily do that. I don't see anything it couldn't do this build, but it's just very bored for me to play this build, and I suppose that is also why I haven't made one in 7 years or so. Yeah, playing Diablo 2 actually. Haven't played a Paladin in 7 years. It's pretty stupid. But yeah, I think I have to end it now before it gets too long. As always, feel free to comment if you have any questions, and as always, have a good one and see you in the next video.